Hello and welcome to Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weisheit, licensed clinical social worker. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it very, very much. It's always nice to be able to come on and tell you a little bit about some of the positive things happening in our community and the places around us. We welcome into the program somebody who's making that happen, Ryan Perque, who is the director of Friends of Bayou Lafourche. Ryan, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us, Keith. Happy to be here.
All right, we appreciate it very much. Now, listen, some of the positive things that are taking place in your area, we're going to talk a little later about some of the results of what y'all have done, but y'all had the removal of this weir that's been in Bayou Lafourche for some time. Can we talk about a little bit about that and maybe when it was put in?
Absolutely. So the what we call the Thibodaux weir had been in place since 1969. And the whole purpose of its removal is, that project was one in a series of projects being spearheaded by the Bayou Lafourche Freshwater District in order to introduce more water into Bayou Lafourche. And the name of that plan is the Mississippi Reintroduction into Bayou Lafourche. And so really there's two main goals in this whole series of projects. First of being to introduce more water into Bayou Lafourche and more sediment that will travel down to the lower parts of Lafourche and Terrebonne Parish to combat the coastal erosion issues that we're having. And the other vital component to the Mississippi Reintroduction to Bayou Lafourche series of projects is that Bayou Lafourche is a source of drinking water for 300,000 people across the West Ascension, Assumption, Lafourche, and Terrebonne parishes. So introducing a more freshwater source into our source of drinking water and having that source more reliable is very important to the freshwater district and the task that they take on day in and day out. So the whole purpose of the weir being removed is to increase the amount of flow going through Bayou Lafourche. The weir was built in 1969 in order to create a reservoir upstream to create sufficient water surface elevations for the city of Thibodaux and several sugar mills that were upstream of the weir. However, in 1969, due to several obstructions and the shallow water in Bayou Lafourche, or the lack of capacity rather, the freshwater district was not able to introduce as much water into Bayou Lafourche as what they're doing now. So it was put in for a reason. It served its purpose. Fortunately, the Bayou Lafourche freshwater district has been very aggressive and very successful in completing several of the projects that are in this Mississippi Reintroduction to Bayou Lafourche series of projects. They have dredged the northernmost sections of the bayou, which helped with capacity. The railroad bridge in Donaldsonville that was a major obstruction in the bayou was removed and replaced with a fixed span bridge. And we now have additional water control structures within the bayou that can be opened and closed in times where we face low water surface elevation. So not only do we look at where we're at now versus in 1969 when it was installed, we have a lot more water in Bayou Lafourche, and we have additional water control structures that if the water surface elevations do drop, we have mechanisms to better control that water.
And so what took place in 1969 to provide more fresh water for Thibodaux and those sugarcane plants now is the idea of going from something smaller to something bigger, providing more fresh water for more people south of where that location is, and a lot more people with more volume of water.
Correct. That's exactly right, Keith. And, at the time when it was built, the freshwater district was unable to introduce the amount of water that they're putting into Bayou Lafourche today. And in addition to that, we have new water control structures that when emergencies occur or we have very low water level events or a situation happens at the pump station or in the river, these gates can be controlled to create temporary reservoirs instead of the permanent reservoir that the weir created.
Gotcha. And again, we're looking at some pictures here about that process, about how that went. Can you tell us a little bit about that, kind of how long it took, and it's obviously a huge success?
Yeah, sure. It went very well. Very little interruptions or major curveballs took place, and I think a lot of that was due to all the the planning and the surveying that was done by the Planners Design Group and putting together a great demo plan. And C-level contractors came in and executed the demolition within a matter of weeks or a couple months that they were in and out. They were relying on plans that were 50 plus years old. So there was always some questions about whether or not the plans were true, but they proved to be accurate enough to give the contractor a good description. One of the things that I learned when they were going through the demolition process that very few people realized until the old plans were being evaluated. We always saw this concrete structure, and for many, including myself, assumed that we had a concrete wall built across the bayou. What we actually had were steel sheet piles driven down 30 plus feet into the ground with a concrete cap built on top of it.
Wow. Awfully interesting to learn about that. Huh? And I guess if something's been there for 50 years and then you realize what was there and the time it took to get out, it's time to celebrate.
Correct. So, that was a monumental project to be completed, and we're very appreciative to Bayou Lafourche Freshwater District and Lafourche Parish government for making that happen. And, when we started looking at ways to celebrate the weir being removed and looking at the whole COVID situation and public safety and gathering restrictions, what better way to celebrate something in South Louisiana than through a parade? So we started thinking about it some, putting together the logistics, and with the weir now being gone and boat traffic open in Bayou Lafourche, and our new project at Nicholls State University that will be ready by the weekend of the parade, we said, well, this is the best way to showcase the bayou being open and our new park facility on the bayou. So we put together these logistics, put the parade together in just a matter of a few weeks. So it is set as Saturday, August 28th. The parade will start at 2 o'clock. It will travel just over 1.5 miles down current. It will turn slightly past Nicholls and head back up current to the beginning and staging area, which is at the Jean Lafitte the Wetlands Acadian Cultural Center in Thibodaux, which a lot of people know it as the library, the old library, but it's the state park in Thibodaux. So we'll begin the parade there, travel down current, make a turn, head back up current. And again, this event is free and open to the public. We just want people to come out and enjoy this. We're very grateful to all of our sponsors that have been a part of this. They really made this event possible. And in order to get more people out here and make it exciting, we have a total of 6 live music locations along the route, 5 of which will be along the bank, and we'll have 1 band in a boat moving with the parade. So we thought that this was a fun way to celebrate the weir being removed, a way for us to showcase our new project at Nicholls, and most importantly, a way or an avenue to give people something to do that's safe and has a social distance nature to it, where people can participate. It's outdoors. It's not a large single gathering place. So we are looking forward to it. And again, we're grateful to all of our sponsors for making this event happen.
Well, and the other thing that's really exciting is you got music up and down the bayou, but you got music in the bayou. There ain't a whole lot of people who are doing music in the bayou.
Correct. So that would, the National Park Service, the Wetlands Acadian Cultural Center stepped up and they said, look, we have our boat. We want to participate in this. and we're gonna make sure that you've got a band on board. And so we're inviting both paddle powered boats and motorized boats to participate. However, the paddle powered boats, the kayaks, canoes, paddle boards, pirogues, that group will be separated from the motorized boats. We want to make sure that the two groups don't overlap, to make sure that everyone stays safe. So those two groups will be separated. We will turn them around in a manner that, again, they do not overlap with each other. And the boat that is going to have the band on it, they're going to kind of serve as our buffer boat between the two separate groups.
That's a great idea. And that way you include everybody. So it's a way to be inclusive. And so one of those things is that the paddlers, those paddle-powered boats, they're going to launch at the Jean Lafitte National Historic Park and Preserve, and that's around 2 o'clock. But you're asking the paddlers to arrive no later than 1:45. Is that right?
Yes. We're planning to kick off the parade at 2. So we really want to see all of our paddlers in place, kind of at Jean Lafitte, no later than 1:45. And that includes the motorized boats as well as having them in that staging area no later than 1:45. That way we're not trying to move a parade while other boats are coming in or out of the parade area. It's kind of no different than the way that we run Mardi Gras here. We don't let traffic flow up and down the streets when the floats are coming. So we'll take the same approach with this, make sure everybody's in place, and at 2 o'clock, we'll kick off the parade and everybody will get moving. So
instead of everybody rolling, everybody will be rowing.
Correct.
Let's get rowing.
Rowing and roll.
That's right. And so if you want to rent a canoe, you can do that, but you got to reach out ahead of time. You can do that to Ryan. It's ryan.perque@BayouLafourche.org, or you can call 985-665-8474 to be able to get that information out. But I also want to let you know about those bands. We're going to roll through those real quickly. We got about 45 seconds left.
Yeah, sure. So over at the Jean Lafitte Park, we're going to have the Daiquiri Queen. Over the balcony at Rotolo's, we're going to have Harley Talbot. At the townhomes near the Rienzi Plantation, we've got several members of the Good Feelings Band. The Thibodaux Pedestrian Bridge, we have Teddy Baudouin and Lonnie Laperouse. Over at our new park at Nichols State, we'll have John Degg. And within the moving boat, we'll have Gina Forsyth and Waylon Thibodaux. So we're looking forward to it. If anybody has additional information, they can go to BayouLafourche.org to look at the details of the parade.
We can't thank you enough. Really looking forward to it. Can't wait to see how wonderful it goes. Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Again, that's Ryan Perque. We appreciate his time today. That'll do it for this edition of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. Local programming up next.